Hey there, welcome back to Gecko Tech and Gaming. I'm Kyle, and this time I want to take a look at two wireless Ergo mice from Pulsar, the Xlite and the Xlite V2 Mini. Pulsar really seems like they've been working overtime. They had their initial release of the Xlite, then they had the V2 versions with some noticeable improvements for both the Xlite and their new Mini version. And coming out in August, they're even going to have an X2, which looks really exciting and promising as a claw grip mouse. So Pulsar in 2022 is coming out of the gate playing hardball. I really like it. So we're going to take a quick look at the full size and the mini version of the Xlite, and we're also going to take a look at the comparison between the initial release, the V1, and the V2 that just came out. These are really nice mice, and there's a lot of value to be had here. So let's take a look. So these are more or less clones of the EC shape, but wireless. Now these two mice are really lightweight. The full size is 59 grams and the V2 Mini is 55 grams. Very, very competitive. Despite that really low weight, they both feel excellent in hand. I don't feel any creaking or flex anywhere where you're supposed to put your hands on the mouse. Instead of your typical hexagonal or circular cutouts on the shell, they actually have these oblong pill-shaped cutouts. And I actually like these a lot more than the more common cutouts that you're finding in holy mice nowadays. They also take a lot of material out of the underside of the mouse, which is why I say no creaking or flex on the areas your hand is supposed to be on. I really wouldn't try and put too much pressure down there because there's so little material, but you're not supposed to. If you do that, you're just dumb. But for how nice these things feel in hand, how sturdy they feel, the weight is kind of ridiculous. And honestly, it's really nice to see a proper lightweight Ergo mouse. A lot of Ergo mice kind of have a bit of a reputation for being on the heavier side compared to other symmetrical gaming mice. So it's nice to see a really, really lightweight Ergo mouse like the Xlite. Both versions are using KL 8.0s, feel and sound super nice and crispy as always. The scroll wheel is very, very smooth. They're fairly well-defined steps, and that scroll click is just right. Not really too heavy that you're gonna have difficulty pushing it down, but not light enough that you're going to accidentally click it while you're using that scroll wheel. They're both using a 3370 sensor. Really not too much to talk about there. It's in a ton of mice nowadays, and it works great. I had no issues with accuracy with it. Battery life is great, about 70 hours expected battery life, and it charges via USB-C. The lighting is very minimal, so if you're someone who likes RGB crazy LEDs, this one doesn't have as much. It does have one LED there, and you can basically just change it one solid color or a breathing single color. So there's not a whole lot to talk about with the lighting for it, but honestly, it's tasteful. I like it. It uses a very basic driver to program the sensitivity as well as the button functions, but I do find that it works very smoothly, no hitches anywhere in the program. Liftoff distance, pulling speed, and DPI can all be adjusted in program, and you can even adjust the debounce all the way down to 0 if you want in the program as well. And that's a really nice feature, eliminating that debounce. Overall, it just feels very, very snappy and responsive in game. The skates that come with it are PTFE. They have these little notches at the ends so you can peel them off if you want to replace them, but I don't find that it's immediately necessary. I personally prefer core pad skates, but these work perfectly well. I haven't felt the need to replace them so far. Now for the improvements that were made that I noticed between the initial release Xlite and the V2 Mini. On the first version, there's a noticeable amount of pre-travel on mouse 1 and mouse 2. All of that is relieved with the V2. Really, there's no pre-travel to talk about at all. The side buttons also feel nicer with a lot less post-travel, and they also sound and feel a little bit more tactile. One interesting change that I think is a really good idea is they raised the scroll wheel out of the shell a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to access. It's a small change, but it is a very nice quality of life improvement. And lastly, they removed the cutouts from the sides where your fingers are typically contacting the mouse. So that one for me, I actually kind of liked having the cutouts on the side. It gave me a little bit more grip, and I actually kind of like the airflow that it gave. But for those of you who don't like to have those holes on the sides, that's a very nice improvement. I also really do like the matte coating on these mice. They don't pick up fingerprints at all that I can see. Feels very nice, doesn't get boggy, just really nice overall. I have medium small hands, and the palm grip on the regular Xlite feels great. Now the Mini is visually noticeably smaller, but it feels even smaller in hand by comparison to just the way it looks. I find myself defaulting to a relaxed claw grip on the Mini version, and I actually really like it. I also found that fingertip was very easy to do with the Xlite V2 Mini. Medium-sized hands and up should be able to claw and fingertip the Mini version of the Xlite very easily. I think palm grip, on the other hand, will really only work for smaller sized hands. When it comes to picking between the two sizes, it really just kind of depends on your grip style and your hand size. For me personally, I performed the best with the Mini size. It just felt very nimble in hand. But when it comes to comfort, if I'm just doing general day-to-day tasks or productivity type stuff, I actually really like the full size. It just felt very comfy in hand. So this is a bit of a shorter video. There's just not a whole lot else to talk or complain about. These are just good mice. Beyond the very low weight, these mice don't do anything super spectacular, but they're just very solid, well-built, nice mice. The Pulsar Xlites bring high-quality components, good performance, very low weight, and a very solid feel. For a very good price, they're $80 MSRP. For all those great features, great price, and multiple sizes to pick from, I think this is a big win and a very easy recommendation. But that's it for this time. Like, comment, subscribe, and you all take care, God bless, and I'll see you on the next video, okay? Later.